You are listening to an exclusive on Pod Hub Network. Your city, your podcast.
To the delight of this crowd, McClendon marches down the dugout steps with first base.
McCutcheon's throw. The runner breaks to the plate. Here's the throw. Wow. He is out. The Buccos win. That ball's in well to left center field. Back toward the track. And that ball is gone.
You are listening to the North Shore 9 podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, make sure to watch NS9LIVE every Thursday on Twitch and help support by becoming a patron. Let's go Bucks!
Yo, welcome to NS9LIVE. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, as always, Jim Rosati, Tyler, a.k.a. Wagner the Hopeless. I don't know. After tonight, 1-0, undefeated Pirates. Maybe not as hopeless, but here we are. Again, as stated, the 1-0 undefeated Pirates defeat the Cubs 5-3. Some late post-game action here. How's everyone doing?
58 wins away from hitting that over.
There it is. 60 more wins for Tyler and I hitting our wins challenge.
Yep.
Can I say that I was dead on my prediction for today?
Dead.
5-3.
Yeah, you were.
5-3.
And you know, it's funny. Bucko Mike tweeted that out. Bucko Mike was paying attention.
Bucko Mike hangs on every word that I say.
Great guy.
He sure
Love
does.
him.
Anyways, yeah, so 5-3, the Pirates did win. So I guess we could go so many routes right here. I want to troll a little bit, Jim. I mean, you did call that they would win, but again, 54 wins. 54 wins, Jim. 54 wins was your prediction for these Pirates. They're not that bad.
They really are, though. Like, you realize that you still, in order to get 54 wins, you still win 54 games, right? So here's one. We got one.
And
To be fair, DiNardo, it's like 7 less than what I picked. Like that's
I know, I
that's
get
a drop
that.
in the bucket.
But think about how
But
hard it is
54
to
is
lose even
bad.
7 more on top of losing 101.
Yeah, that's
And the point of, and here's the other thing I'm going to get. So watching the Pirates, like, they're not that bad, right? But on the other end, you saw around the division today that the Reds give up 6 in the first. The Cubs walked. What was the final total? Was it still 11?
a lot.
The Cubs pitching
It was 11.
sucks.
Yeah.
Cubs pitching
That
is
was-
it was-
terrible.
I couldn't believe how bad the Cubs looked. I mean,
Yeah, they look bad.
I predicted the Cubs to be pretty bad. Like they hit. I was, I think, the only one of us who said the under on the Cubs win total, and they looked bad today. Their pitching looked awful. There were guys they were throwing out there I'd never even heard of.
And Josh Ruga,
Yeah, so
I agree. Jim is a awful baseball analyst. Just pure awful. 54 wins, just awful.
I just absolutely love this day of the year because the overreactions are out the window.
Oh, I love
Like
it.
if
I love
you
it.
either win or lose, either way, you're the best team in the world or you're the worst team in the world. Brian Hayes is the best player ever.
Let's troll Jim some more, Tyler. He took the over on the Dodgers. What was his quote? If it was 108, I'd take the over. And they couldn't even beat the Rockies today. They couldn't defeat 35-year-old Daniel Bard.
The bad part is that like 108, they don't have many more losses to go, even with this one.
Right.
That's a lot of win. Like they can't lose many games.
If they win the next 2 games in the series, then they're on pace.
It's a
Will
lot
they?
of pressure.
They're on pace to lose all 3.
Brian Hayes, 162 home runs.
Easy money.
Right. And as mentioned, I mean,
Problem though, the issue now though, Dylan Carlson also 162 home runs, and his was a 3-run homer. So
all the RBIs.
Yeah.
As mentioned,
It's 2021.
Kevin
we don't care
Newman
about RBIs.
on his path to 300 hits this year.
Overreactions aside, though, He looks really good right now. Like he just looks locked in. He has no power. He's a cream puff, but he just gets a barrel to everything. Same with Frazier.
So maybe let's get down to this game. Enough of the trolling, enough of the a bit of sarcasm here. We'll have to save more for later.
Get to it.
But okay, so this game, first off, I just want to mention, I think Jim was in the same boat. Tyler, you talk about how great this day is. Love opening day. Fantastic. I missed the first 2 innings. I had the TV on. I was watching everything. I was watching the Yankees and Blue Jays game. Garrett Cole was looking pretty good. 2:19 call. Missed the first 2 innings completely. Didn't see the Brian Hayes home run at all. Pissed.
I missed the. What did I miss? I missed the bottom half of the first inning because my boss took my phone because I wasn't allowed to watch the game. And then she had a client walk in. She hit my phone, and I couldn't go in there and grab it. So I saw the Hayes home run.
Terrible.
I texted you guys, and that's when I lost my phone.
No, I was a dummy, and I scheduled a 1:30 meeting today and a 2:30 meeting today, just like an absolute dummy. And so I get done with my last call. I look down at my phone. There's a notification that says Brian Hayes 2-run home run. And I'm like, mother. So I was a little upset. And then
finish the
luckily,
song. I thought you were singing Danzig.
Luckily, I was able to at least see a highlight. And then I had the game in the background, the rest of it. But no, it was a fun game though. It was a good game. Bullpen looked good. Ruga over here saying that the Pirates have the best bullpen in baseball. I wouldn't go quite that far, but they look good today, especially those middle innings.
Where do we even start with? Like, which player do we start with?
I guess let's just start with this. Let's just start with the offense.
Yeah.
Obviously, Brian Hayes, the home run, very first game. I didn't see it.
I'll even say too, even on Hayes' outs, he looked good.
Well, that's what I was alluding here to. Right.
Yeah,
I didn't see the home run. The numbers is nice. Like he hit the home run. That number is nice, but he looked really good. I mean, you talk about someone who belongs. You've said that a lot, Jim. I think you said it too, like going down spring training, just seeing him, just hearing the bat, and the sound he makes, like he belongs. Just watching him today. Like you said, on the outside, it doesn't matter. Just watching him play baseball, this dude belongs. He just looks so much better than everyone else.
I tweeted about it like probably 14 times, but at the plate, he's must watch. Just right now, I don't understand how he's so locked in. I saw him not chase so many breaking balls today.
I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He knows what he's doing up there. He's never in a hurry at the plate. Same in the field. He's just always in control of everything. And we're talking about a guy that went 1 for 5 today. Should have been probably 1 for 4 if Fowler tags up on the fly ball.
Yes.
But
yeah, and that's actually that at bat is the one that really impressed me because you mentioned like the breaking balls. Like he got down, I think he got down 1-2, right?
Yeah.
And then he caught up to like a 99-mile-an-hour fastball like at his shoulders. And he just hit a laser down the right field line. That was just foul. But like he got a hold of it. And then right after that, they hit him with these breaking balls that, I don't know how he left. I don't know how he laid them off because they were good looking pitches. And then he eventually got a pitch that he was able to drive for what should have been a sac fly. Unfortunately, just terrible base running by Fowler. But that at bat, he was locked in on that at bat.
He just looks like a dude right now that I don't know how, but it's the first game of the year. When you get into like July and when Kutch would get in that mode where it was like, this guy's going to hit a ball hard somewhere. He might be out, but he's hitting the ball hard. That's what he looks like right now. And it's opening day. Usually we had to wait 2 months for Kutch to do that.
And think about this whole thing, like rewind literally a year ago, and we're all wondering, like, what is Brian Hayes? What is he? And he comes up last year, and you're like, well, wow, this was incredible. Rookie of the Year honors potentially. It's amazing, but it's small sample. What's he going to be next year? And I get it, it's spring, right? Like, we get it, it's spring, but regardless, he looked really good in spring. And yes, it's one game, so you can still call it overreaction. But this guy, since he's made the majors, has just looked so damn good. And I'm not here trying to say he's going to be an 8-10 war. I'm not going to say he's going to be like an Andrew McCutcheon. But he looks good and he belongs. And I just feel like the floor on him is just going higher and higher and higher. Because we're just, Jim, you've mentioned this how many times that we all have. If the defense plays and he's just okay bat, he's a 2 or 3 war player. I don't think we're talking about a guy who's just going to have an okay. I don't think we're hoping on a guy who's going to have a 95 to 100 weighted runs created plus guy. I mean, this guy can hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no, he can hit.
Jim's 5 WAR this year is looking closer to actually happening than Brian Hayes being a like 2 or 3 WAR player.
And once again, we're talking about a guy that went 1 for 5.
Right.
But like he looked that good in those at bats. It's not he didn't go 3 for 5 with 2 bloopers and 1 wind carried home run. No, he had a home run.
Which the wind was blowing in. So again, put that home run in perspective also.
He launched it.
Yes.
Yeah, he crushed that ball.
He murked
Even his strikeout, though. He got down 0-2. Fought off a bunch of nasty curveballs. Got it to, I think, 2-2, 3-2. And, I mean, swung and missed at a outside fastball. It is what it is. It's going to happen sometimes, but every at-bat's just a battle.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's someone where if you're a pitcher, you don't want to face him right now. Like he's really locked in. And I did mention before, like at spring training, his bat, it made a different sound than everybody else's. When the ball hit his bat, it was louder. It was that cracking noise that you like to hear. And today he showed the same thing. Was crushing the ball. That home run was just mashed. Yes, I'm excited. Like, again, nothing. Obviously, first at bat of the season, 2-run homer. I mean, come on, that's pretty incredible.
That's not even really what I'm excited. Just watching every at bat, like, yeah, that's great. Like we saw Starling Marte hit a home run in his first at bat. Everyone's excited, but the other at bats are just almost as good. It's we can't say it now. He's just locked in.
He's fitting the part so far. Like I can't say really one negative thing about Brian Hayes at all.
Also, he looks skinny as hell. The amount of weight he looks like he's lost. That's what I'm saying. He looks like a real deal baseball player now. He was a chunky monkey there for a while.
He does.
When he was drafted, that was. I mean, I remember reading draft reports and people being like, "I don't know if he's going to be able to stay at third because he's not mobile enough." And now you look at him and you're like, "Shit, let's try this guy short."
Right. I mean, think about you.
It's a good point.
Is he Nolan Arenado-esque? You know, you're talking about, is he potentially the best third base defensively? You know, at his peak in his prime, is like you said, Jim. This guy was drafted. Was like, is he going to stay at third? But yeah, I think a complete body transformation as well. And I just don't know enough or whatever. But it just seems like, yeah, like this is a different dude right now as well than 2019.
Yeah, I remember seeing him in 2019, like when Indianapolis was in Louisville. You know, I saw Brian Hayes play like 4 times in 2019, and like you could tell that the approach was there, right? Like offensively, you're like, okay, this guy gets it, but he wasn't hitting the ball, you know, like he is right now. Fielding wise, clearly, you know, he's been talented for a while. He's won like 3 minor league Gold Gloves. But he just wasn't the hitter that he is now. And the fact that he's just developed into this tough out. I mean, he's, as Tyler mentioned, like he's must-see TV. Like when Brian Hayes is up to bat, you need to turn AT&T Sportsnet on and watch it.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm partly because of default. I mean, it's not like you have many other options to watch, but you know, but he fits the bill.
Right, but
he's worth the penny.
Yeah.
To bring it back to our old conversation, he's one of those guys that if we had a red zone for baseball, I would want it to flip to him when he's up.
And also an old conversation. to credit you, Tyler, as well. And again, not the same stratosphere, at least yet. I don't know if we'll get there. I'm still have my reservations. But a guy who just signed a $341 million deal. I mean, you're talking like Francisco Lindor. He's brought it up a few times, Tyler. You're absolutely right. Same thing. I mean, Lindor had more pedigree, but it was constantly like, is this guy going to pan out? Is this guy going to pan out? The minor league numbers weren't there. Almost like a Brian Hayes, you're getting worried about this guy a little bit. Offensively, it's not there. And then just like Lindor, like he hits the majors and like it just clicks. And he, the story's written for Lindor. We're still writing it for Hayes, but it's very similar in that sense.
We're going to revisit this in like 3 months and he's going to be hitting 180.
Stop
That's
it.
just our luck.
I know.
That's our luck.
I mean, you're absolutely right. But
I just really don't think so. Like I said, there's something
I don't
special.
either, actually.
There's something special about him.
Yeah.
I think he is legit. He is legit, the real deal.
He's not a guy running into a couple fastballs. And
yeah, I mean,
he's not Drew Sutton.
That home run he hit today, like he was out in front of that. Like
Yeah.
he was.
oh my God.
He was a little bit off balance, but his swing is just so perfect right now that he was able to adjust to the off-speed pitch, and he just crushed it.
And I was gonna say, and Fort broke it down. Like when you saw that slow mo and you saw it, like frame for frame and stuff. Oh my God! It, like you said, it just. What can you say negative about this guy so far? Nothing. That was amazing.
And that ends the guys that look different at the plate for the Pirates.
So to the much of the same.
I will say this. So, like, I don't know if it was like an approach thing or if it was just these Cubs pitchers were just all over the place. But I mean, when was the last time that we drew so many walks? And we were loading up those base paths and putting pressure on the Cubs all game long. Clearly, you would have liked to have seen more runs scored. But they got on base. I don't know if they were retired 1, 2, 3 all game. If they were, it was later in the game. But
I think almost every inning they had a walk.
Frazier got on base 4 times. Colin Moran walked 3 times. Stallings got on base 3 times. We can talk about Stallings, that big double that he hit. That was nice too.
Also, not just the double, but he had the single where it fought off a curveball, got the barrel to it. He's kind of Chris Stewart-esque, where he's gonna hit probably 270 and 300 slugging.
Yeah,
but hopefully he can control the pitchers.
I mean, every year
not happen.
Ryan and I said we had every year there was a Chris Stewart over and under 0.5 home runs. I think I won it every year but one.
Stallings at least has the potential where, like, I think he could hit like 10, right?
Yeah, but you could have said that for like Chris Stewart.
We're not talking about a 24-year-old.
Chris Stewart just could not hit. Like, Chris Stewart was not a good hitter. And
Chris Stewart hit almost 300. He had 289 and probably 300.
And how many plate appearances? Not a lot.
Enough.
I mean, like 105.
He had a 1.
Pretty small sample size. But like Stallings, I do feel like is someone
personal catcher.
I think Stallings is someone who's in that like 90 to 100 range for weighted runs created plus. He was the best hitter on the team last year, like not counting Hayes.
Yes, but a lot of that came from like a 14 game stretch, I feel.
I mean, the whole season was a 14 game stretch.
But that's what I'm getting at, I mean, that 14 game stretch did a lot for him because he was actually pretty awful for a bit there too. But I mean, I'm not taking anything away. You are right. I mean, you look at that dude and you're like, why aren't you hitting 10 plus home runs?
He swings like a girl.
Well, I'm just you said it, Tyler. But that's part of it. Like Jacob Stallings is a big man. You tell me he can't hit a baseball out of the park?
Yeah, he's like 6'4" and he swings like he's 5'7".
But I don't think he's like a liability offensively. Like Jim, I don't know if he's like 90 to 100. I would say maybe he's like more 80 to 90 in my mind, which for his defense, is still a good catcher, a fine catcher. Put it that way.
Yeah,
I know Tyler's looking at me sideways, saying good. I guess our definition of what good means. Fine. He's a fine catcher.
I think Tyler's coming around on Stallings a little bit.
No, I said he is good for what they are, where he's the guy that you need behind the plate because he knows these arms. He's come up with them, and they're trying to develop arms, and they need a guy they can trust back there. Good talk.
Do you think we see Perez this weekend? Or does Stallings start all 3
He
games?
sucks. Should have kept Walters.
Let me ask you guys a question. Obviously, it would deal with, making a move. But Cherington, he comes from Toronto. So there's that connection also as well. But Reese McGuire was DFA'd. Do you guys think there's potential for a reunion of Reese McGuire being a Pirate now?
No.
Not at all.
Unless we're hanging out in a Walmart parking lot or something.
Don't get him excited
first,
now.
The first thing I thought about here was, he's got that connection with Cherington, right? Coming from Toronto. So it makes sense. And honestly, Reese McGuire is probably better than Perez. So, that could be an upgrade there. And McGuire's only 26. He's got 5 years of service time remaining, right? So he's a controllable guy. But then I thought, I'm pretty sure Pennsylvania's tinted windows law, you can't tint the front windows of your car. So then I was like, this might not be a good fit.
Yeah. Well, up until the tinted windows part, you had me. But that's literally why I asked too, because I found this to be semi-fascinating in that sense.
Tinted windows?
Oh yeah, of course. You got to tint mine are tinted, but I'm down here in Florida as well. But I prefer Target's parking lots. A little less mischievous. You don't have really cops roaming around looking for certain things. But yes, I looked at this and thought like the same thing you're saying. Can he not be better than Perez, Walters? Probably. He's decent defensively. He's also younger. He's more controllable. Like, he could be around, I don't think he's going to be a great catcher, a good catcher, but as far as a backup catcher, like he's going to be your Chris Stewart. He's going to hang around here because he's got control. He's your backup catcher. He's reliable defensively, and just roll with him. Opposed to we have no depth. So you have someone here for some time. I look at this and say almost like the same thing. Why not?
Yeah, just hope he doesn't you got to take his phone off him. Make sure he doesn't take any screenshots on Instagram of your teammates' wives. Keep him from parking lots. I'm not taking this seriously at all because he blows.
Well,
no,
other options suck too.
I don't think he got to finish.
I do think he's.
we need to get this back on track. Why did I bring up?
Move on. Honestly, we should just move on. To be honest with you.
Oh God!
All
right. Let's clear the search history and move on.
Pull my pants up. Go to the next topic. So, all right, yeah, I guess enough of him. All right, so then I guess we're sticking with the hitters and such. The middle infield has been like carrying this team, and Cabrian Hayes through spring, right? It's been the talk. Adam Frazier, Kevin Newman, and here we go. First game, like you mentioned, Adam Frazier got on base 4 times, 2 walks, 2 hits. Kevin Newman gets 2 hits. Tyler, I think you mentioned it too. Like Newman, is this going to be for real?
So I think it's tough because he's honestly, for average, he's hit the entire way through almost. The guy can get the barrel of the ball. There's just not much behind it. He doesn't strike out much. At the end of the year, I think you're looking at, a guy that's not terrific, but he's usable by far. If he can get a little BABIP luck, I think you might run into something there, but Same with Frazier. They're almost the same player, where they're kind of slap hitterish.
I mean, I would say, which doesn't speak well for Newman, but like Frazier's got more power.
He does.
He does, yeah.
But it's also Newman. He gets the barrel there. Once teams adjust, I'd like to see what happens, but he's not striking out. And for a shortstop, I know it's the age of shortstops where we got Francisco Lindor, Correa, everyone name them, or they're going to hit bombs. He's not that dude, but he's producing, and what can you say? I mean, I don't think it continues, but
well, that's what we're asking you. What are you going to say?
I don't think it continues at all.
No.
I think he's a 280, 290 hitter, but
that's still good.
It's what are we, 1990? He's a 280, 290 hitter with a 320 OBP.
Well,
and a 360
I guess when you
slugging.
put it, well, the thing is too, if he's getting on base, if he is walking, what's his on base going to
walk
be?
because he's not going to walk.
I guess what I meant about being a 280, 290 hitter is he's not going to be like the two. I mean, he's not going to be as bad as he was last year, but like he's not going to be lost in the play.
No.
Like he can connect, he can hit here. I'm not expecting him to bat 400.
No, he's going to put the ball in play, but I don't see enough there with him that I really see enough to be a above average hitter.
Okay.
I mean, but he plays shortstop, so
right.
You don't need an above average hitter.
So I think the potential's there. I mean, we saw it in 2019. He was an above average hitter. I don't think repeating 2019 is completely out of the realm of possibility here. I'm still more aligning with Tyler's thoughts. Like, I think he's more of like a 280, 290 guy. And if you're talking about a 280, 290 guy, then you're talking about a 320, 330 OBP, right? So you're probably looking at pretty much a dead average hitter, right? Which is fine, right? I mean, that means that over the course of a season, he's a 2-WAR player. That's not terrible. That's an average major leaguer.
Yeah. Starting player.
I mean, I think that's what you're looking at as like his ceiling, really. Like, I don't think we're talking about Kevin Newman as like a perennial batting title contender, right? Like, that's not. I think he has the ability to hit 300 every once in a while, if he can get lucky with that BABIP. But yeah, he's going to hit 280 to 290 with a bunch of singles and play average defense, and he's basically average, I think.
I don't want to cut you off, but
No, you're good.
What happens with the balls here is going to be interesting with him.
What's that?
Because if what happens with the baseball is going to be interesting with him, because these guys that were hitting 30 bombs at shortstop, if they're not hitting 30 bombs anymore, he may turn into an above average hitter based upon a way he runs creative.
And then again, we're finding out with baseball, these guys are hitting 30 home runs. With this new baseball, now they might be hitting 32, 33, 35 because baseball trying to deaden the baseball apparently ended up juicing it more. So there's that.
Apparently it didn't work.
We've solved the problem. We've created more home runs and more strikeouts.
But I mean, they're guys that are going to put the ball in play, and they're going to do their job and get on base at an okay clip. They're not going to do much more than that.
Right.
And that's fine to have on a team that's a lot better than the Pirates.
Yeah, and I guess that's what I'm getting at. Like, when I was saying that's fine. Like, him being a 280, 290, he's not a complete failure. Like, we saw Jekyll and Hyde. We saw 19 where he was a really, really good hitter. Like, him and Reynolds came up and it was like, wow. And then we saw 2020 where he was terrible. So it's like, are we going to find in the middle Kevin Newman where he's like a 250 hitter and lost? But like, I see what happened with spring. And again, just game one now of baseball, he does look like a different hitter. I think I do believe more of like he can hit for average. I think that is a skill that still exists, will continue. But of course, his knock is he has 0, 0, 0 power. And that's what limits him. And I think it was when our over and unders, we went through it, we talked about it. And that's why I think I said with my over and under why I picked that. I was like, I think he can hit for average, but still be like 95 WAR, 95 weighted run created plus hitter and be like around average or right below because he has no power. Like his secondary skill is going to have to come on base. Like, will he get the walks to push it? Like, as Jim mentioned, 320, can he be a 280, 350 type hitter, right? Start getting more walks, get on base more, and then add value offensively in that sense. That's what's going to have to happen. He hasn't struck out yet. It's spring, today's game. He's yet to strike out.
Which is also why he's not going to be that 350 OBP guy. He's not a guy that's going to drive deep in the counts. He's jumping on an early fastball. He's putting it in play, and he's going to do what he does.
So he's just going to bat 400.
He's a
call it a day.
I guess. I mean, but
if he doesn't strike out,
he's a guy that's not going to drive deep in the counts. He's going to be at a high batting average, low OBP guy, low slugging guy. He is what he is.
It is interesting. Like, he is the complete opposite of like what baseball has turned into. Right. I mean, baseball is now more strikeouts, more home runs than ever before. And then you've got Kevin Newman, who doesn't strike out, doesn't hit home runs.
Yeah. He's Tony Womack if Tony Womack had a little bit more power.
And not as fast as Tony Womack.
Probably. Yeah, true. Okay, he's Josh Harrison.
Josh Harrison probably had more pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
And speed.
Josh Harrison after 20.
I think he's more like Jack Wilson, but can't feel as well.
Nah, he's got a better bat than Jack.
Shortstop
Flash.
Chris Stewart.
Jack Wilson hit 300 like once.
He hit 311 once, and then he hit 250 the rest of his career.
Like, I think that's who he is, though. Like, I think 280, 290 is like the ceiling.
I think 280, 290 is where he's going to sit. I don't think he's much more than that. Or I don't think he's lower or much more or any more. And there's nothing more you're getting from him. He's going to hit 4 to 5 homers.
So who else stood out today offensively? Any other notes? Anything take away?
Positively or negatively?
Either or.
Because Anthony Alford is terrible. And
I guess one thing I want to say,
Polanco.
we'll get to Alford. I think one thing I want to say, I guess going back to what Jim mentioned, to me, I just felt it was more just the terrible Cubs pitching. You talked about how they're getting on base and drawing all the walks. I mean, how many times did Colmeran go up there or any of these guys, and there's literally nothing to swing at? I mean, are you going to put a big pat on the back to them because they didn't swing at a ball that's 30 feet off the plate? No. So I think it was just spoke more of the Cubs pitching and how pathetic it was than it was that, is this team going to get on base? I mean, I'm not sure if we'll ever see this team have like 6 walks in a game, let alone, double digits.
Yeah, I mean, I think they said that was the most walks that the Pirates have had since like 1982 or something crazy like that. Like, it's been 40 years since the Pirates have had that many walks.
Right.
And yeah, the Cubs pitching looked bad. I think that definitely played a part into it. Because there were a few at bats there where there was just nothing to hit. Unless you were Polanco and you just swung at everything.
Okay. Alfred's your guy. Tyler, Polanco's going to be my guy here. I got some beef with him. So I don't know who you want to pick, Jim.
I said both. They both blew. They both look absolutely. The only reason I said Alfred's because I see that 6 jersey in the background. And I think of what could have been.
Yeah, not Sterling Marte. Sorry.
Yeah, he needs to change numbers. He looks awful. He's a bad baseball player.
With Polanco too, like, it was all in like high pressure situations.
Yeah.
Like, Polanco had 4 at bats with runners in scoring position today and went 0 for 4. I mean, and he looked bad in that 0 for 4.
Looked like the old Polanco that is why he's given the dub of, Polanco. Like, it just, nothing looked good today. Nothing looked good today at all. Nothing. As we said that we kind of pick out like any positive thing, or I can't pick out any negative thing to say about Brian Hayes. I can't find a positive thing really to say about Polanco.
What about his
chasing? I mean, if you saw the GIF I put out there in the tweet, it was bad. I know it wasn't on camera. I know when he threw it, the camera went away, but that's when you saw the ball plop it into first base from right field. Like the dude couldn't make it to first, let alone home. So that wasn't fun.
I feel like Sheldon's sitting there looking at Polanco every day in spring training and thinking, why do I have to play this guy every damn day?
But I feel like in spring,
stinks.
you saw some good stuff. Like I could say positive things. I know just one game.
Yeah.
But all we have right now is one game.
That,
and for this one game, when it counted, it looked like all the bad things that have been said about Polanco's all came true again. There was nothing positive. It's not like nothing clicked. Nothing has changed over. It's not like it's new, reinvigorated Polanco. It just seemed like, here we go again.
That's the thing, is we're not talking about a Brian Hayes right now with a bad game. We're talking about a guy that hasn't been good ever. He's been okay. Yeah, and he was hurt after. He's been good in short spurts. He's never been good.
That's fair.
He's just
in the minors. He was really good.
There you go.
That was
he's the opposite of Brian Hayes.
Very long time ago.
As soon as he hit the majors, he decided he forgot how to play baseball, which is true. Wasn't he like didn't he have his first game good?
Like an over,
and he was like 1 for 30 or something.
I think it was pretty bad.
So yeah, but maybe he's the opposite.
He would go through spurts where he looked really well, really good. And since then, since the shoulder issue, he just has not looked like a major leaguer. At this point, I don't know if you can. It's going to be hard to put him out there every day.
Like, what's the alternative?
I mean,
I don't care.
You just do it. As the joke and the memes around there, then he's just going to be the tank commander. This is what it is. You're going to put him out there and just keep putting him out there. For the people that are saying DFA him, release him, like, no, you just put him out there, let him play.
You can't do any of that, which puts you in a tough spot, but you got to figure something out here.
It's not as if there's someone, it's not like he's blocking someone though either. It's not as if like, why is Andrew McCutcheon still in the minors and Polanco's up here? It's not like there's anyone that's waiting to come up that Polanco's taking the spot that just eat the money.
No one's busting on the door.
No.
Yeah. No one's knocking on the door. No one's
Travis Swaggerty.
No one needs playing time right now. Travis Swaggerty still hasn't played above high A ball. And even there he was
he's no Juan Soto, Tyler.
Average hitter. Like, so I mean, no, I think you play Polanco every day. And the other thing too to remember is like this is game 1 of 162. Polanco could go out there tomorrow and look like a completely different person, and all this.
But for Gregory Polanco, it's not game 1 of 162. It's an entire career of not being good.
It's not really an entire career.
I wouldn't say that. It's not that he hasn't been good. Like when he has played, he really hasn't been bad. Like when he gets consistent playing time.
He's frustrating.
He hasn't been good.
But over a full year before the injury, he's productive. You know, he had that 1 year he was really productive, and he got injured, and he's been completely different. He's been.
We're talking about the 1 year where everyone was talking about shipping his ass out because he was so bad, and then he figured it out for a month.
It was more than a month,
and then he got hurt.
But yes, but what we're getting at is he was a productive player. At least he didn't live up to the hype. He wasn't great. He wasn't good, but he was productive, and he's been a completely different player since that injury. But as Jim's saying, you're going to put him out there. And yes, it is game 1, but regardless, you're going to keep putting him out there. It's game 1, game 2, game 3 we can talk about. Hopefully something clicks. Hopefully something happens, because all you're doing at this time is just praying that he can be productive and you could potentially trade him. And that's it. He's not blocking the door. You're going to need him out there to play innings. And it's either he's good enough at the deadline to trade, or he's not. And at the end of the year, you're cutting ties.
I mean, you guys are right. Yes, you have to play him every day. You have to see what you have, and you got to try to deal him. But God, he's so bad.
I mean, I guess the only difference would be if it's
trying to watch him.
If you're heading into July and he's batting 180, like maybe at that point in time, you're just like, Jared,
the guy
get
just
up here.
Yeah.
He
if
looks
it's July and he still looks like this and he's looked like this for 3 months, then you DFA him.
Right.
All right. But there's no reason to do that right now.
I know. This is why I said it's the overreaction episode. Overreaction day.
Yeah. Cutting Polanco after day one. That's
not saying to cut him at all.
Talk about sending a message to the team.
I know you got to ride him.
What if the only reason they kept Polanco this whole time was to cut him after game one? Shelton's like, I mean, no business. I'm setting an example this year. It's going to be Polanco after Wrigley game one. I don't care what happens. I'm cutting him, and I'm going into the clubhouse, and I'm setting the tone. This means business, guys. Hoka hey.
I mean, you got to let it ride with him. I know it, but it's so painful to watch him play sometimes. The guy is the most uncoordinated human being I've ever seen.
I mean, I don't know. It's bad, but I've seen some pretty uncoordinated people in my life.
I think his swing looked almost as bad as Anthony Alford's. That guy does not look like he belongs on any AAA team.
Not on the base pass either.
But he's interesting, isn't he there, Jim?
Not interesting, no.
I'd rather see Goodwin play. Based upon one at bat. That's all enough. That's good enough.
Play?
Goodwin play.
Oh, okay. Based on one at bat.
Yeah, that was enough. I watched Alfred bat enough last year and 4 times today. That was enough. This guy sucks.
Fowler had a nice pinch hit.
He did. And he negated that.
Yeah, and then he couldn't run the bases.
And then he couldn't run the bases, yeah.
Yeah, that
he did have a stolen base, though, so we can talk about that. 3 stolen bases today.
Yeah, that was a double steal. And he took third. They threw that, and he was safe.
Yeah.
Beat it out, so that was good. 3 stolen bases, yes.
No.
But then again, you had like 38 base runners, so you had all the opportunities.
True.
But it's something I don't think we saw Shelton do last year was be aggressive. And I think we saw a little bit of that today. Hopefully he starts to feed into that a little more.
Yeah, I didn't have any complaints with Shelton today. There were a few times last year where I was like, "What is this guy doing?" But
there was more than a few.
There was more than a few.
I think he made all the right moves for the most part. I mean, the bullpen clearly lined up right, and we'll get to them here eventually. I think he took Cool out at the right time. He just didn't have it today, really. And so getting a few innings out of him and. You had a rested up bullpen. You got an off day tomorrow. Might as well use them. And it worked out.
Yeah.
Speaking of Cool.
Let's get to the pitching.
He looked like shit, didn't he?
Again, I couldn't see the first 2 innings.
Like shit.
So I did really miss Cool. I saw a bit of the third. From what I've heard, what I've seen people talk about. I guess I'll let you guys talk more on it if you saw more. But yeah, it wasn't pretty.
Yeah,
it's just the walks. Yeah, it's just the walks, and it's the same thing. I feel like with him, that's his problem. Like it's just too many base runners. Yeah, he can strike people out, but you start getting people on base like that, and it opens you up to 3-run home runs, which are just bound to happen here eventually. And next thing you know, you're out of the game. So he needs to limit the base runners at the end of the day. That's really what it comes down to. He didn't really get a lot of help today either. Like the defense was bad.
Yeah, it was.
That Adam Frazier was that third inning. Like Stallings. Adam Frazier pretty much cost the team a run, right? But you can't walk 3 batters in 2 innings.
Yeah, he's the same old Chad Cole. He's all over the place. He's not gonna get into the 5th inning. He's gonna be at 100 pitches by the 5th inning. The stuff is there.
I think he was at like 30 pitches after 1 inning.
Yeah, he was. The swing and miss stuff's there, but he's just not in the zone enough. He still doesn't know how to slide step at all. You can run all day on him, and he's just not the guy that you really hope to see develop this year.
Well, sign him up for the pitching
And
Yinza.
it's been one game, so let's go ahead and throw this back.
He needs
one
to
game.
see the pitching Yinza, and he'll be set straight.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's hard to really get into it because it's one game, and it was what, 25 degrees?
Yeah, it was really, really cold, clearly.
So it's obviously very hard to throw the off speed.
Mm-hmm.
But it looked like the same Jackal we've seen for a long time.
Well, his issue has always been going deep into the games. That's always been his issue. Like even back when he was more productive, right before his Tommy John, when he first came up, and he looked like you might have something there. His issue still was always it would be the fourth inning and he'd be at 85 pitches. And I don't know if that's just who he is. Like we've said it a lot of times. Like I think Chad Kuhl would be a good reliever. Like if you go say, hey, Chad Kuhl, go give me an inning right here. I think he could do it and do it very well. The problem is when you want to get 4 or 5 innings out of him, he's just not that guy. But with the way the Pirates have been constructed here lately, he's just being forced to be that guy. And that's just not really what I think he's best suited for.
It's not, but it's also one of those things where his best trade value is going to be as a starter. And you hope to catch lightning in a bottle with him. And I don't see it happening, but it's also something that you have to find out for sure that it's not going to happen because they're not going to win many games, as Jim says.
I mean, they're not winning many games as we say. They're just downright pathetic, is what Jim says.
I mean, they're going to win more.
We'll see.
What are you talking about? 162-0.
All right. So, I mean, that's fair with Chad Kuhl. Like I said, I didn't really get to see much. I saw the spectacle that was made in the third inning of the defense and such. But I think it's all fair to say, and you're right. So let's move on to the bullpen, because that I think was a complete 180. We did speak going into this year that this team, albeit it's not as if we're saying that this is great. I know Josh Ruger's in the chat. We're not out here saying that this bullpen is the best bullpen in baseball. But what we're saying is for a really, really bad team, the not so bad part about it is this bullpen and their defense, right? Well, the defense wasn't that good today, but the bullpen kind of held up to prove that. And I don't know. I mean, again, it's one game. I'm not still going on the hinge and saying that the best bullpen in baseball, but we might have some productive pitchers in this bullpen. And we'll save the guy from Mars here in a little bit. But overall, this bullpen they came in and they did the damn thing. And as bad as the Cubs pitching is, right? They still have a productive lineup. And you still have Jock Peterson, Rizzo, Bryant. You have Happ, Contreras. I mean, Hayward. Like, this isn't a terrible, pitiful lineup. So the bullpen came in facing a decent lineup, and they shut them down. I mean, they shut them down. Thoughts?
I'm going to be honest. When they said Underwood's in the bullpen, I was like, who the hell is this guy?
An ex-Cub.
I know, but who the hell is this guy? Look good.
Yeah.
Sam Howard looked good. I know you said we're going to say Bednar, but looked real good. I mean, the only part that kind of gave me a little pause was Rich Rod, and he looked fine, but it was more of just a command issue where the velocity was up, but he just was a little bit erratic. Bullpen wise, though, you got to eat that many innings. That's a good day.
Yeah. So the bullpen pitched 6 innings. They had 1 walk, 11 strikeouts, 1 hit.
It's a very good day.
It's a damn good day.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
like you said, it started off with Underwood coming right in, 1, 2, 3, strikeout, done, game over. He looked pretty nasty.
Strikeout.
He looked pretty nasty. And you figure too, like the Cubs hung on to him for a bit there. I mean, they seem to have liked Underwood. I mean, he was a prospect at the time. I mean, you've heard his name. Didn't really pan out there. So, I don't know. It seemed like the Cubs, as much hate as the Pirates get, what pitcher has the Cubs ever developed? So, I don't know. Maybe there's something there. He comes over. Maybe they see something in him. He comes over, 1, 2, 3, boom, done. Clay Holmes, Howard, Bednar, Stratton, Rodriguez. Shut the Cubs down.
What was most
You have me
impressive
thinking
for
about
me? Yeah, go ahead.
Cubs. He had me thinking about who the last pitcher they developed.
For the Cubs?
Yeah, I can't think of one.
There is none. That's why. Doesn't exist.
Jeff Samardzija.
Yeah.
And that was still like the old regime,
that's
though.
the best answer I could.
Yeah, it was a while ago. And even then, he really didn't turn into what you would hope.
No. But he did choose the right sport. He's still not even being a good pitcher. He's paid.
True. No, but I think what was really impressive was, because Cool was in trouble, right? Like he was kind of reeling at that point. It was still a close game. It was 3-2, going into the fourth. And it was those first four guys, Underwood, Holmes, Howard, Bednar. They came in and they just shut it down. No one reached base. Between those four guys, 6, 7, 8, 9 strikeouts and 12 outs, no walks, no hits. So like they dominated, and that allowed the Pirates to increase that lead a little bit, right? Because so then 3-2 ended up becoming 4-2 or 5-2,
right?
And by that point, Stratton and Rodriguez both didn't look like the sharpest that they've looked ever, but it was enough for them to close it out. But those four all look pretty good.
Fully agree. Underwood, a new guy. Holmes, it seems like the book's still on him. He was off the 40-man, comes back, he makes the club. But, going to Howard, we saw what he did last year. I think, myself, I was impressed with Sam Howard. It wasn't like he was a shutdown guy. It's not as if he was Bednar. I'm going to talk here. But he impressed me. Everything he did last year, I felt like he's going to make the bullpen this year. And he's gained a little bit of flow. He's got the hair going this year. So I don't know. It's building up that confidence a little more, right? But yeah, he looked really good. And then we've been saying it, but can we talk about Bednar? Just a lights out spring. He comes in that trade with Joe Musgrove. He has a really good spring. A bit of a talk, a little bit of a buzz going around him. And then he comes into this game, a game that counts. And everyone knows when I say the first curveball he threw, everyone knows literally the pitch I'm talking about. If Reese McGuire was in a car in a parking lot of Walmart looking at that pitch, within 5 minutes, Pitching Ninja posted out there on Twitter. Amazing. This stuff that this guy has. I'm excited.
You can see why Ford said he thinks that he will be the closer at some point.
Right.
This year.
I don't see any reason why he can't.
Kudos to this regime, honestly, like for identifying him. You got to think like at that when Musgrove was traded, like this guy was a throw-in.
Yeah,
we didn't even talk about him. We're like, okay, here's this guy who he's got a little bit of major league time, but he's been terrible, But geez, he looks legit. He looks like the real deal. Like that stuff.
Full agree.
I don't know how these numbers. Like I'm looking at his numbers from San Diego, and I actually can't even understand how they are what they are. Like I'm like, how does that guy with that stuff do that, right? So
and maybe it's just clicking for him. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, but Denardo, you mentioned it. That first curveball, I audibly went, "Whoa!"
Right. And go back to what
It
you
was
said
like
too. Like we're talking about, he
78, and it
threw
was like-
that in 25-degree weather.
Yeah, I think I look at the TV with like big eyes.
When the
Ooh,
ball's not supposed to move as
okay.
well as it does. That's what he gave us.
I thought he threw an ephus. Ooh. All right, we got something here.
Sick.
Yeah, that's one of those that you just watching along. And wait, did I miss that?
Rewind. What's that? That scene in Super Troopers? Enhance. Yeah. I think honestly, like as great as the bullpen was, it's like Bednar's the talk, and really just because of that one pitch. I mean, obviously he looked great the entire time, but that was like the standout. That one pitch was the standout. And I just can't, I'm so excited right now to watch him. Maybe not Brian Hayes level, but if we're talking about people that we're like really wanting to see this year and intrigued on, he's right up on top of that list for me right now. Like he's moved up so quickly, so high.
Who was it that struck out Baez and Baez complaint? Was that Rich Rod?
It was Rich Rod. I said it was at the end of the game, wasn't it?
Okay.
That was the last.
I thought it was ninth. Yeah. So he started to settle in a little bit, but he was a little bit erratic. He was up to 94, which I think is a positive, but Bender was, I think he was 96, 97 in 25-degree weather.
Sick, man.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. Rich Rod's stuff looked good too, I thought. I mean, even though he was a little erratic, like that at bat to Baez. And I know Baez can sometimes be a little bit easier of a guy to pitch against, especially if you are a little erratic, right?
Yeah.
If you're struggling with your command, Baez stepping into the batter's box is like a dream come true, right? He's just going to swing at everything.
Yeah, he's going to give you a few strikes,
right? So, but I mean, those two fastballs that Baez looked at were just painted right on that outside corner. They were perfect pitches.
Yeah, I mean, early on he looked, like I said, he was a little bit all over the place, but I think he threw a couple guys actually just painted their breaking ball. And once again, I'll say it again, it's 25-degree weather. That's not easy to do. Sam Howard strikes out Rizzo on 4 pitches.
And that's
3 fastballs.
That's a tough out.
A guy that lefty on lefty, but a guy that we're talking, Joe Block said on the broadcast, a guy that threw 2/3 of his pitches sliders last year. There's 3 fastballs to Rizzo. Catches him looking. So it makes you think, what is Oscar Marine in there? Maybe he does know what he's doing.
This is his first full off season, a real season. So yeah, I mean, I think part of that is also what intrigues me in these guys. Like this is now they're getting their hands on this new regime and fully with this new regime. I mean, last year was just weird. We all know it was weird. Almost everything's like a mulligan. So yeah, I'm kind of with you there too. Like I'm intrigued to find out what Oscar Marine can do with all of these guys.
With you.
Cool. So we got anything else that we wanted to talk about?
The Angels and the White Sox are about to start tonight. That should be a fun game.
Everyone tune in so you can find out who Mike Trout is. The Rockies beat the Dodgers. He's the guy that
we hope Brian Hayes turns into.
What's that?
He's the guy that we hope Brian Hayes turns into.
I mean,
he's the guy that we hope Nick Gonzalez turns into with that swing, that sweet swing of his.
Yeah, the Mike Trout swing.
I mean, you can see the comparison. Honestly, now no one's hands are as quick as Trout's. Like
right. I can get the comparison of the way the swing looks, but let's hold the horses on Nick Gonzalez and Mike Trout in the same sentence. Let's wait till Nick Gonzalez plays in a minor league baseball game.
They have very similar swing
Finishes.
paths. I think, yeah, very similar finishes.
Yeah, I mean, swing pass, yeah, probably. But I could probably also pull about 20 of them that do as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope most really good baseball players look at Mike Trout's swing path and is like, I'm gonna do that.
And if not,
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Right.
It's like people going, "Wow, man, he looks like King Griffey." I hope so.
I will say though that Moncada swing from last weekend. Oh,
That's still sexy. As much as we're talking about Bednar and that curveball, like Moncada on that swing, oh my God, that was just violent.
It was one of the most beautiful swings I've seen like in years.
That ball was murder. Oh my God. Yep. All right. Well, I mean, again, I don't really have too much. It's game 1. So baseball's back. That's what's most exciting. And it was played, unlike in Boston or who was home?
Washington,
I don't remember. New York or Washington.
Yeah.
Was it New York? Yeah, those games. Different reasons, but we have our own beefs and gripes about that stuff, but we'll save that for another time. But yeah, so I guess
we'll talk again whenever they're 1-3. As Jim hopes.
I don't hope that.
Yeah, you do, you selfish bastard. Wanted to win the wins challenge.
It is over.
Jim's trying to win that jersey.
I'm trying to win the jersey. I'm trying to win the first overall pick. Sue me.
There you go. I don't think the Pirates are getting it this year. But then again, the Rockies are 1-0, so nothing
Their
lost.
Competition, the Rockies, and I mean, have the Rangers played yet?
I think they won. They played Kansas City. I think they won 9-5 or something like that.
Okay. So
Dodgers might go 0-62. I don't know.
So Rangers, Rockies, Pirates, all won. The Orioles didn't lose, right? So you got to think.
Texas lost. Royals came back 14-10. Holy shit!
So Texas has the leg up right now.
I don't usually say those words on here. Yeah.
So Texas has the leg up.
Texas had a lead and they blew it. Wow, what an awful game. So Gibson started for Texas in 0.1 innings. He gave up 5 runs.
Yeah,
Keller started for Kansas City, and in 1.1 innings, he gave up 6 runs. So that was fun.
Not good.
So Mitch Keller does the same thing.
No, yeah, right.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
All right, let's wrap it up here then. We will see you guys again next week when the Pirates are still undefeated, sweeping the Cubs. Brian Hayes has hit his 5th home run of the season. And Benner has already locked up his 2nd save. So, all right, we'll get out of here. See y'all later. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Sucker Scouts.